And Pendleton Heights just has all of the edges sealed off here, really prepared for some of that jet sweep type of action that you're probably going to be seeing a lot from Delta tonight.
Nice job of support. That was perfectly played on defense. It's, you got to count on a couple mistakes in order to get something going. Right now, Pendleton is not cooperating. They're not making any mistakes, which is always tough on the offense.
3rd down and 5. Bond to pass for the first time tonight. Over the middle. Nearly picked off. Is it? It's close.
I think they got it.
And they're going to say it is a Pendleton Heights interception. And that is Cliff Van Dunn, his first interception of the season. And that is another heartbreaking play for Delta in this opening quarter of play. And Pendleton Heights, this is a Delta team that plays off of momentum, and right now they don't have any.
No, they don't. But it was he had his man wide open. He was a little bit sluggish on getting it out of his hands, and that gave the defensive back time to get over there and get a piece of it.
Candiano in plus territory dumps it off to Malone, and he nearly breaks free, but a shoestring tackle there by Ben Morris of Delta saves a big gain, but still nonetheless a solid pitch and catch for a gain of 6.
Nifty. His feet, that play was stopped. He just made a nice move, nice cut, got up the field. Beautiful job with the run after catch. And that, as you can see, is going right in the direction of Pendleton Heights right now.
Of course, James Malone, one of the 9 sophomores getting the start tonight.
That was
for
nice.
Pendleton.
For a sophomore, very nice.
Malone on the call again. This time he's stuffed. He fumbles the football, and it looks like Delta's going to get it right back, and they do.
Right back.
On the recovery, Ian Renbarger. His second fumble recovery of the season right there. And back-to-back turnovers after back-to-back 3-and-outs there, Joe.
Well, the coordinator, the defensive coordinator at Delta said enough of this, and he brought the house, and it was just the perfect time to bring the house. Got a turnover, and that's got to be great for a momentum builder for this offense. Let's see how they can capitalize. They got some good field position.
Bond on the quick snap. Trying to find someone to throw it to. Instead, he is corralled in the backfield by Nick Trout. His first sack of the season.
Well, I give credit to Delta coming right back and let the quarterback have an opportunity to throw after throwing an interception. The Heights just locked in on defense. There was nothing there. He had to pull that ball down, try to make something happen, and I'll give him credit for not forcing it and creating a turnover, but they've got some long yardage situation in front of them.
We're now 5 minutes into this ball game as you see Carpenter try to turn the corner and nothing doing there. But we're 5 minutes into this ball game now, Joe. Neither team has gotten a first down.
It's just been one of those games where they're just picking away, trying to find out what they can do. Evenly matched teams, good football teams. It may take them a couple series to see what exactly they can do, what is being done to them to stop what they do so well, and then how they adjust from it.
3rd down and long for the Eagles. They have yet to get anywhere close to the line to gain tonight as the defense has come to play for the Arabians. Bond feeling the pressure, and another sack by the Arabians. Give that one to Justice Garrett.
Yeah, they're going to have to go to something more quick. 3-step, get the ball out of the hands of that quarterback. It was a long yardage situation, and it was a slow developing play. Pendleton Heights is so well coached in the secondary. They play their cover, too, so perfectly that there was just nothing there. They're going to have to throw early in their downs, quick game, try to get their chains moving that way. But 3rd and long is tough on anybody at any level. And let's hope we get off a good punt. Nope.
Blocked punt! It's a blocked punt, and that's going to take a roll down to the 36-yard line. So it looks like Will Castor got a finger on that ball, and so that's really only a net punt of about 4 or 5 yards, and still more great field position for Pendleton Heights.
They're getting it handed to them on a platter. Let's see if they could take advantage of this. It was a good snap. It was just a flat punt that was blocked.
So that was Will Castor, who got in there with a little bit of help from Jake Ergott. And so now the ball at the 37. So if you're Pendleton, you have excellent field position. You have to take advantage of it here.
You certainly do. You had a chance last time. and you turn it back over. Now you've got a great opportunity here. My feeling is this quarterback is going to make something happen.
Candiano again coming into the ball game tonight with 612 passing yards. He's going to run the ball on the designed run, and he finagles his way through the middle for a nice gain of about 7 yards.
Nice job. This is what we saw the last time we watched Pendleton Heights play. The quarterback, when the ball is in his possession, things happen. And once he gets that opportunity for a little crease, he can make things happen. Nice cuts, secures the football, runs hard. Now they've got the chains on their side.
2nd down and short. Give is to Dresden Roberts, and he keeps his legs moving for a nice gain and the first down for either team of this ball game.
Well, there's nothing like momentum, especially in high school football. You could just feel it. They get to the line right now, and they are confident in making something happen. Defense on their heels, but still playing hard.
Oh. High snap from Candiano. He has to tuck it and run and still makes close to first down yardage inside the 10. And they're going to give him to him, so it'll be 1st down and goal for Pendleton Heights.
He's the kind of guy that when it's in his hands, good things happen. That could have been disaster. Beautiful athletic play and fielding that snap, and then he just pulled it down and made the best of what was in front of him, and they're looking at 1st and goal.
So 1st and goal from the 9-yard line inside of 5 minutes remaining here in this first quarter. This is the first real drive that we've seen tonight from either team after exchanging 3-and-outs and turnovers. Roberts on the keeper there, sheds a tackler, flag on the play as he gets a little bit of momentum downwind, but this one looks like it's going to come back for another holding call.
Yeah, that's a tough situation. He definitely grabbed on the corner there to hold. Whether the because of the hold, but they gained something, and I'm sure the coaches from upstairs saw there's going to be some opportunity there.
And it just goes to show you, been talking with Richmond earlier. Looking outside, Jones gets back to about the original line of scrimmage, and now it'll be 2nd down and
nice.
About 10 yards to the goal line.
Nice execution on the flat route. He got it in his hands, got rid of it quickly. That's what it's going to take. Hit the receiver right in the right spot where he was able to turn it up to get some yards after the catch. Beautiful execution, nice play. It's a purpose play when you get that defense running sideline to sideline, and that's, I think, what they're trying to do here on this series.
So Candiano working 2nd down here. Sending 2 guys in motion. There's some confusion, and now it looks like they're going to have to call timeout, and you can see Coach Richmond is not very pleased right now as they're trying to make sure they get everything on. Of course, I'm sure as a coach, Joe, that's one of the most frustrating things is when all your players aren't exactly on the same page all the time.
Dang, they worked on it all week, and it looked so beautiful. You get a chance to run it in front of the homecoming crowd, and you flop. That's tough, but I saw he came out there stomping, but he quickly started patting people on the butt. He knows he's got to gain control and get the confidence up because they've got a outstanding scoring opportunity in front of him, and he wants to cash in.
And this is the interesting thing, though, here, Joe, is the fact that they're in a solid position on the field. They're working now, going to be 3rd down, still going to be 2nd down because there was no play called, so still 2nd down right here. They've only ever attempted 1 field goal all season long, and they have made it with Zion Griffiths.
Well, I'm sure that's not what they're thinking, but they're in that range, that's for sure.
Candiano.
Pressure.
Feeling the pressure, gets out of it, tries to turn the corner, lowers his shoulder inside the 5.
Nice job. I would be tempted to let him carry it 75% of the time. He is a very good, very athletic, physical. He's more physical than many of the defensive backs that he's going to play against, and that's always good. Big play here, 3rd down and 5.
Candiano had 66 carries for 206 yards coming into tonight. He's certainly adding to that stat sheet this evening. Candiano again looking to the end zone, trying to find Cole. Does he have him? Did he get it? No.
Nice
just out of reach.
Nice thought. I don't know if he caught it and landed out of bounds or not, but if he had put just a little more loft on that fade, that would have been 6.
And so it's 4th down and goal now as we take a look here at the replay of this pass and catch right here.
Did he catch it and land out of bounds?
Looks like he just bobbled it a little bit.
Okay. A little bit more loft. I mean, he kind of lined that, little more trajectory, but we're going for it. Here's the answer to your field goal question.
4th down, 5 yards to the goal line. Malone in at running back, and the play clock ticks down to zeros. It's going to be a delay of game on Pendleton Heights.
Those are things, self-inflicted wounds like that. So difficult.
Again, taking a look at this catch here.
Yeah.
Cole made the catch. Yeah, he just came down out of bounds.
And the big white. Yeah, they'd have to take the 3 now. It's too bad, but they're going to get plenty more opportunities.
So this is going to be their 2nd field goal attempted all season long. This time it's going to be Dominic Apo, the sophomore kicker. Snap is down, and it is through the uprights and good.
Wow.
So, having to sacrifice it, it goes 3-0 with Pendleton Heights leading Delta right now. And it is certainly going to be an interesting thing to see how Delta can respond here.
Well, they have to just quit hurting themselves and start playing some football. Hopefully, they were able to settle in, devise a couple things that they know they can go to in order to get a drive going. But if you keep giving the ball inside the 50, that you're gonna make a homecoming crowd very, very happy. I'm amazed at this crowd. I mean, there is not a seat available, and they are poured all over the sidelines. What an exciting thing to see high school football bounce back like this compared to what we saw last year and how difficult it was and how fearful everybody was to come out here now like this and enjoy a night like this. Unforgettable night. And jumping off to a 3-zip lead can't hurt.
Of course, it's homecoming tonight here at Pendleton Heights. Certainly doing it big here this evening as Apo kicks it off to Abram Stitt, who we have not seen a lot of tonight, but he nearly breaks free but gets out to the 30-yard line on that return.
It was nice. I mean, this was pretty much the same coverage that we saw the first time when he got smacked. This time he put a little wiggle in there. To me, Stitt's a guy, you got to get his hands on the football. 6 foot 160, 11th grader, and he's got some breakaway ability.
Stitt has been the big production guy this year, 508 yards this season, but he could surpass the 1,000 career rushing yard mark tonight if he gains just 21 yards on the ground. But this time they pitch it to Backus, and Pendleton Heights has just had those edges sealed off all night long.
It's a nice call. It's a tough perimeter play, but it is so difficult to hold those blocks out there without actually holding. It's so difficult to hang on to those blocks in a slow developing play. They just played well. It's a well-coached, they're always in great position defense, but I like the concept of the play. It's just such a slow hitter. It's very, very difficult. 2nd and 11, such a key series for Delta to be able to get some confidence going, get a nice drive, get some field position.
2nd down and 10 as they go right up the gut with Bond this time, and nothing is doing there. And Delta is a team that lives and dies by running the football with a few passes sprinkled in, and Pendleton Heights has just made it where they cannot do what they do best.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Bond is a very, very talented young man, and I understand why they like him so much, but he's just he's not quite as physical as the guys he's playing against at this point, and that's been the difference right now. He's a senior to run some of these plays. It's going to be different.
Bond on the pitch to Stitt this time. He has some running room. Nice move by Stitt. Gets a first down. Still on his feet, and he's going to go all the way. Touchdown, Delta. Abram Stitt on his first touch of the night not only eclipses 1,000 yards. Wait, hold on a second. Oh, it's going to come back. As you come back here again, right there. Can't quite get a feed on who that is.
You know,
from Delta.
You just get close to them and stop and raise your hands, and you get away with that. Yeah, it's difficult. But what they do? They found out that they got a lightning in a bottle right there waiting to happen.
So what would have been a 65-yard run by Stitt is now going backwards. But once again, a long throw from Bond, trying to find his receiver, and Caleb Ed right there on the coverage was Nolan Souders to make that fall incomplete.
Well, he had him too. He was behind the defense, and he had a nice, I mean, it was a perfect call. Threw it a little bit late for the amount of gun he's got on his right arm. At least there's some hope, right? Some hope that we saw in this offense.
So 6 points was taken off the board there for Delta. Instead, it results in a punt. Again, their second of the night, and they knock it out at about the 35-yard line. Still, if you're Pendleton Heights, you got to take advantage of Delta shooting themselves in the foot right here.
You certainly do. But you know what? The key guy is the senior. You know, when you got the senior quarterback, he can gain age in some of those younger kids. He's a playmaker, and some of these plays where they're hitting the line of scrimmage, I'm not sure if they're trying to read that or not. But if they ever get to a situation where he can pull that and run, they're going to have a lot of fun. He's going to get some yards.
James Malone on that last carry for a gain of about 3. Second down, give it to Malone up the middle. And Malone certainly knows how to keep his legs moving, even reaching to get the first down, and it looks like they're going to give it to him. And that's great awareness there by a sophomore to know where the marker is to try and get as many yards as you can.
Yeah, he's just a tough kid that just wanted to keep rolling and rolling. You know, their Delta is just begging for a play-action pass. Last lineup you saw, everybody was within about 6 yards of that line of scrimmage. You're just begging for a little fake in a post.
Inside a minute, Candiano on the option play. He keeps it on that option and only falls forward for a gain of a couple.
You're in good hands when the ball is with number 3. I would have nothing but faith and confidence in him. He's going to make things happen, and he's the kind of guy that, like we said earlier, can make others around him more experienced, older, better.
This is a Pendleton Heights team that started the season 3-0. Were ranked as high as 13th in the AP poll for Class 4A. but are trying to snap a 3-game losing streak here, and they'll certainly do it with plays like that as James Malone spears it up the gut for a first down.
Beautiful job at the point of attack. Just created such a beautiful, and that back hit it hard. Full speed, and there was no stopping him. Great way to end the first quarter.
That's the end of the first quarter. We'll be back in a minute here on 9 Star TV.
At 9 Star Connect, our history spans back to the late 1800s, where family time, building livelihoods and neighborhoods, sharing stories of the day, and looking forward to chasing new dreams were important to all of us. Today, 9 Star still values these things. That's why we have a local 24/7, 365 support center. We are still here for you, as it's been for the past 125 years. At 9 Star Connect, we're a different kind of company, and the difference is you.
Second quarter action getting ready here for homecoming. A packed house here at John Broughton Field in Pendleton, Indiana. Alongside Joe Polizzi, I'm Kurt Darling. Joe, we thought that we might see Delta really take it to Pendleton Heights here tonight. Well, Pendleton Heights has taken it to Delta on defense.
Pendleton Heights has taken advantage of their advantages, with Delta giving them the football on a couple opportunities, taking over momentum, but there's a lot of football left. Luke's going to just get
pass along the sideline here from Candiano, trying to find his receiver there. Looked like he was trying to shoot. Instead, it falls out of bounds, incomplete.
Bit off and little low. Could have been a touchdown. Could have been a touchdown if he hit him up in the face.
So that stops the clock, which has been a rarity. That first quarter flew by with how these teams were running the ball. And now it's 3rd down and 10. Candiano hands it off to Malone, and he goes nowhere with that one.
Interesting 3rd and long call.
And so it'll be a punting situation here for Jed Richmond and the Arabians. And once again, we'll be seeing Justin Beeler punting the ball away here. Of course, he's in for the injured Ethan Ross, who has been the primary back for most of the season, but he has been out the last few weeks with an injury, and so other players have had to step up, but still a nicely executed punt that goes into the end zone for the touchback, but nevertheless, Beeler had a lot of air on that one.
Well, I like the idea, the thought behind it. They weren't going to try to create a turnover on their part at all. They were going to try to make Delta the idea. He's the guy you want to get the football to. It was just the wrong coverage to go against. They were pressed coverage right up in his face. There was no real chance unless the DB would happen to fall down. But I like the concept. He's the guy. He's the guy that's got to get his hands on that football.
Second down call. This time the handoff to Stitt. And he gets it back past the original line of scrimmage for a gain of about 4 yards. It'll still be about yards.
A little misdirection, and you understand what they're trying to get done. But here they're still sitting with us 3rd and forever. Or so 8 yards in this game has seemed like forever.
Abram Stitt, who had a season-high rushing total this season against Muncie Central, which was their opening game of the season, a 49-6 rout of the Bearcats. Abram Stitt had 10 carries for 165 yards. Bond rolling now to his right along the sideline, and he looks for Quinn Backus. Instead, it goes out of bounds, and the offense of Delta just cannot get any sort of sync right now against this stout Arabian defense.
Well, it's just their scheme. They're doing such a nice job. They're playing a tough, hard corner cover 2 with both corners jamming the wideouts. There's no place to go. Safety's sitting back. They're just relying on the fact that our front 7 could beat your front 7. We're not going to give your perimeter people, who are very good, any opportunities to get in the open.
A low punt is going to roll past Clint Myler. He's just going to let that one go. Probably a wise move right there with the special teams unit bearing down on him. And that will take a Eagles roll, and they'll touch it right just inside the 30.
2 beaters, because now they're letting Pendleton Heights hammer those wideouts. There's plenty of routes you can do to beat that coverage. They're going to have to go to that selection and try to make something happen if they're going to move the football through the air. But we're not certain they even want to do that, correct?
It certainly could be either way. So this is a Pendleton Heights team that averages 102 passing yards per game as well as 170 rushing yards. And they keep it on the ground with Malone, who pushes forward maybe a gain of a yard before he gets stopped shy and they blow the play dead.
Wow, that is tough going up front. Good line play on both sides. Pendleton came off the football hard. Delta stood in there, toughed it out, held it to a short gain like that. 2nd and 8.
With Candiano falling forward to the 35.
You got to believe it's a hold. It happened on the backside of the play, which is a real waste.
And so even though they've been few and far between, penalties have seemed to have emerged.
You're having enough time trying to stop them on your own, let alone give them first downs. Very, very difficult, making it difficult on themselves.
Malone right up the middle, has a couple of guys to beat, and the sophomore running back takes it in. Touchdown, Pendleton Heights.
Hit the seam, split the safeties, and no one could catch him. Great job. Caught Delta on a little bit of a downslide. They might have been hanging their heads a bit because of that penalty and the situation they put themselves in. Pendleton took advantage of it. All the momentum in the world is
House.
Love it. Love it. That's his first touchdown, huh?
It is his first touchdown of his career. As James Malone, freshman last year, hardly saw any playing time coming up through this program that Jed Richmond has taken a lot of pride in. He's been in here 6 years now, and they now have over 104 kids in the program, which is a record for Pendleton Heights football.
That is amazing, and you can tell it's a exceptional program. And look at the support. They have tremendous support. That homecoming parade was as fun and as festive as I've ever seen. And about that being his first touchdown, he sure did act like he's been there before.
And just adding to kind of the history of this program here for Pendleton Heights, their win against Newcastle back on September 3rd was the 300th in program history dating back to 1967.
Yeah, they have had traditionally exceptional football teams.
Abram Stitt. Again, the special teams unit of Pendleton Heights has been able to hold him in check as far as the special teams are concerned.
Well, Delta needs something easy. You know, they're having to work so hard for everything they do. They need a big play. They need some penalties or something to aid them in order to get the kickstart their momentum.
Stitt right up the gut. And that's certainly something that could get that moving. And actually on the call there was, I believe, Nolan Carpenter.
Okay, this is what they're doing. They're going no huddle. They're going to speed things up. Hopefully gain some momentum that way.
And trying to catch the defense of Pendleton Heights off guard here, going no huddle, trying to go 2 quick plays. And they are close to a first down right here. It's 3rd and short.
To hurry on this one. Did he move? Dang, he moved.
Now there's going to be a false start on Delta. And that's a product of going no huddle. Sometimes you get a little antsy.
Such a tough thing.
But you can see how they've changed up the scheme now because Bond is going under center a little bit more than what he had in the first quarter and a half.
Yeah, they brought they changed their formation to a little bit more tighter formation, and I'm sure that was because it was a short yardage situation. Now they've got to have just this their best call. They cannot afford to turn this ball over on downs right now.
Funny you mentioned best call. Coach Overholt says that they put an emphasis on playing their best football for every down this season, and they're certainly trying to do that here, and that is an excellent play call right there to Quinn Backus, who loses his helmet but still gets a first down in the process.
Backus can do it. We've said that before. I like when they run that option. That is definitely their best-looking offense at this point. That quarterback was born to run the option.
Just on that pitch there from Bond, and Backus was able to hit that hole that he had.
They got to be feeling about that conversion. Now they're looking good.
So the clock continues to move here in the second quarter. Bond hands it off. This time it's Carpenter on the call, and he's stuffed at the line of scrimmage but falls forward for a yard.
Beautiful play on the line of scrimmage. Held his ground. 76, I'm talking about, did such a good job of keeping his feet, extending his hands, and being an anchor in there to stop this play. Boom. Good hit. That's some heavy hitting going on.
The defensive line made up of Justice Garrett, Josh Shoger, and Sadiki Traore tonight.
Nope.
Oh, and a hard hit on Stitt, who got the pitch from Bond. And again, it was Traore. Oh, and Abram Stitt is down on the field. That was a very hard hit that he took as we take a look at the replay.
Yeah. Come on, get up, young man.
And that was Jake Ergot in on that tackle. And he took it right to the hip right there. And if you're Coach Overholt right now, this is not something you want to see for any player and any player at all, but specifically Abram Stitt, who's by far your most productive offensive player.
He can make it happen. I will attribute to this to just an inexperienced quarterback. This is a situation where he could have turned that up and made something positive.
And he just took a shoulder pad right to the hip.
Yeah, it was so well defended. There's no way you want to get that ball out to the pitch man. And they did that on purpose. They want the quarterback to carry the football. Get that opportunity again. Just turn it up, get 3 or 4, stumble, rumble, get 3 or 4 yards, and line up again. But that is this is the worst thing that could happen is an injury. But there was a turnover waiting to happen also. They just had that defended so well. Come on, I want to see.
Abram Stitt still laying down on the field right at around the 37-yard line. As we sit with the clock stopped, 10-0 is the score right now. We'll go ahead and take a timeout here on 9 Star TV.
When moving into a new home, we ask ourselves questions like, who is the best internet provider in town? Well, have you considered locally owned 9 Star Connect? We've become the fastest, most reliable, and dedicated fiber-to-the-home internet company in central Indiana. Our internet packages have been modified, and we are changing speeds at a more competitive price. So give us a look. Visit us at 9starconnect.com. 9 Star is a different kind of company, and the difference is you.
At 9 Star Connect.
Back to the action here on 9 Star TV. Joe Polizzi, Kurt Darling with you as Abram Stitt was able to walk off under his own power, gingerly, mind you, but still a pretty tough loss right there. But then again, if you're Delta, it's next man up as they face 3rd down and 12. Bond looking long downfield, way over the head of his receiver as he was looking for Parker Failtick for the first time tonight.
Yeah, once you take Stint out of there, that's your big play guy. I hope he's fine. I'd love to see him come back in because, if anything, just to get him to run an option pass, because if they were to pull that back and he was to take it deep on that, they would have a heck of an opportunity. But the way the Arabians are playing their secondary, they're just plugging up the corners. In runs.
Again, Backus with a decent punt and no fair catch called there as you see Myler get the ball and catching it is immediately hit right at the 25-yard line.
Yeah, the way they're playing their corners, to run outside is going to be very difficult, and also you got to be skilled and you got to have the right calls on to beat the corners high and the safeties down the middle. That's very, very difficult. But there are ways to do it. If they got a tight end that can run and send the tight end down the middle, they'll have some success that way. Interesting first half of play.
So it looks like there's kick-catch interference on the receiving team right there, or some sort of penalty there on the receiving team to back them up 5 yards because they're enforcing something else as well. So just to add to the punt, going to put an extra couple yards, so they'll place the ball at the 17-yard line.
What is that? I've never seen anything like that, but nobody's complaining.
Malone has to shake it up a little bit, turns the corner. Could he go again? Not quite, but still the sophomore running back has come to play tonight.
He's having fun. Every time he gets it, it's like playing in the backyard. He breaks the tackle, and he's off and running. His average per carry is going to zoom after this night. Looking good.
Again, he only had 23 carries on the season coming into tonight for 123 yards. He's certainly on pace to match that total just for tonight's game.
They're doing a super job of blocking at the point of attack.
Candiano keeps it himself up the gut off of the fake, and this time is able to keep itself going to about the 45.
Nice compliment play to that quick hitter that's been so effective. Quarterback keep it and follow it up. 2nd down and 7. Right hash.
And Candiano checking with the sideline as he has 3 wide receivers to the far side of the field. Instead, they hand it off to Malone again. Instead, that's actually Dresden Roberts. And he has a nice punchy gain for first down yardage.
That's a nice 1-2 punch. He hits the hole as hard, and he's a little bit more bigger, more physical young man.
And Dresden Roberts is an inside linebacker by trade for this Arabians team. He has 28 tackles on the year along with 3 sacks, but certainly getting some key touches on the offensive side tonight.
Yeah, they've found a weakness. They have found an Achilles heel in that defense, and they're going to keep going to it.
on the keeper for Candiano. Zigzags his way through the middle of the defense for a solid gain of 8.
Just doing such a good job at the line of scrimmage. Delta's going to have to do something up front. They got to move, they got to twist, they got to slant angle. Right now they're just standing there and they're getting themselves blocked. You got to change that up because they're coming off the football like a tidal wave.
Again, Candiano on the keeper, punches in for yet another first down. And Joe, it just seems to me, you know, after you're losing 3 games in a row, you get so discombobulated. Pendleton Heights is not playing like a team that lost 3 straight.
No, they have newfound confidence. And you know what they're doing? There's nothing magical. They're just coming off the football, blocking. They're just playing hard-nosed defense and taking advantage of some opportunities that have been presented to them. Plus, they got a nice senior quarterback.
Indeed they do. Candiano in the gun again as we hit the 3-minute mark. Candiano quick to the outside and through the hands of the receiver looking for Reese Reddington there. Again, another one of these young sophomores, but has certainly had an excellent year so far. He's caught for 2 touchdowns off of 13 receptions and 144 yards.
Yeah, that was a well-placed football and would have been a nice addition to what they're doing on their offense. Just had a little impatience on looking that ball in his hands. I'm sure he's chomping at the bit for another opportunity like that.
2nd down and 10. Candiano gives it off to Malone. And he goes for a minimal gain, maybe about 5 yards actually, as Malone kept his feet moving.
Good job on the D. Again, you saw it. You saw if the quarterback pulls that and follows, he's still running. So they have some things they could go to in their bag of tricks offensively. Plus, they got an offensive line now that is feeling it and pounding off that football and having fun. They are definitely establishing their will up front.
Clock ticking closer to 2 minutes. Candiano, lots of time to throw. Looking downfield, there's a reception, and that's going to be to Javon Cole. So he's the one who couldn't quite get in bounds on that touchdown attempt pass just on the other side of the field in quarter number 1, and he gets a first down catch right there, but they're going to call it back, it looks like, on a flag on Pendleton Heights here.
Beautiful call, crossing route. He had both of them open, actually.
And so it looks like it's going to be a holding call on Pendleton Heights, so they'll back up 10 yards.
You know, these guys always stop all the fun, you know?
Of course, the IHSAA officials do an excellent job as best they can, no matter where they go, though. And that's certainly one thing that the IHSAA has actually been dealing with all season long, though, is an official shortage.
Is that right? Huh. Well, the Heights offensive staff is having so much fun calling their plays.
So the clock stopped at 1:51. Candiano looking over the middle. Javon Cole is behind the defensive back. Touchdown, Pendleton Heights. Candiano goes 45 yards to Javon Cole.
Beautiful job sending 4 seams. He got a mismatch on the right seam and laid it in there beautifully in stride. And stepped up in the pocket.
That was an excellent throw by Candiano, but an even better play by Javon Cole to beat the defensive back and get in there. And they ring the bell here at Pendleton Heights as Dominic Apo will put it through the uprights to make it 17-0.
Whoa, that's a tough one. That's a backbreaker. I mean, you're going to have to work hard now, Delta, to recover from that. Beautiful execution, and now Pendleton has so many different things in their, I'll say it again, bag of tricks that they can go to. It was covered pretty well. but as he looked back for the football, it was at exactly the wrong time.
So 17-0 is the score here. Pendleton Heights looking for their 301st win as a program dating back to the 1960s. And Candiano, coming into this contest, had 1,413 career passing yards. He's having a good passing night tonight, and he's probably going to be looking for a lot more after a play like that.
Wow, it was just perfectly executed against the right coverage. And I'm going to attribute that offensive staff that's really doing a super job of attacking that Delta defense.
Again, it's homecoming here at Pendleton Heights. You saw the floats here on the north end zone for tonight, and it is a standing room only crowd here. Sans the Delta stands across the field there, but the home bleachers right now are completely full, along with parents and even students on each side of the football field. As you see Abram Stitt back into the ball game, spin move, gets out past the 30. And if you're Coach Overholt, it's definitely good to see your star running back in Stitt back in the ball game on that one.
Absolutely, and he came in storming. He had a real intent when he returned that one. I just love to see it. You know, he just loves to play the game and bounce back off an injury and ran that ball like there was no tomorrow. Beautiful.
So they can breathe a sigh of relief here as Abram Stitt will line back up to Caden Bond's right.
Just want to be careful here you don't turn it over. That's
Looking
the same
for the
thing
pitch
we just
again,
saw.
and they just pitched it again. This time it looks like Will Castor, correction, that was Justice Garrett, maybe being a little bit more ginger with the running back there, as instead he just kind of pushes him down as opposed to hitting him hard.
Yeah, that is not you want to change up that scheme. Those corners are just sitting right there. They got nothing to do but beat the block and crush your back. No, don't turn this over. If that would be the worst thing to happen.
We're inside of a minute.
Little counter play.
And that goes for a minimal gain from Bond.
I think that we're late on calling that timeout.
So a timeout on the field here called by Delta as they try to salvage as much time as they can with 47 seconds left on the clock. So Coach Overholt, said after last week's win that they just want to be along every 4 weeks or so. They just want to think to themselves how they can be better, and of course they want to play their best ball that they possibly can on every down. And in fact, one comparison that he made is when they were playing at Mount Vernon back on September 17th. That was a 56-31 loss for Delta. He thought to himself, it's just like, man, that's us. Like, that's what we can be. They have all the pieces there. It's just a matter of figuring it out, because under their new head coach at Mount Vernon, they run a very similar system there, and now they were able to see what they want to be right in front of them.
It's nice to have a model right in front of you like that, and you can see that they have the makings of this going on. They definitely are a team and a program that's committed to the weight room, and that's how Mount Vernon built their powerhouse. When you have a team that's committed to the weight room, plus you've got some skill.
Bond with his man in motion, pitches it out to Stitt, turns it up the field. Actually, that's Quinn Backus, and he gets close to a first down.
They got some racehorses in that backfield, don't they? They got some guys that can go with it, and I like what they did here. They just turned out those corners that have been such a pain, and now they're hitting it up the hashes where that's something they may have stumbled upon a little bit late, but they will build off that in the second half.
And the clock continues to run here as the pylon is showing fourth down. And
that's going to be it.
They're either going to let the clock run out here, and it looks like that's what they're going to do as they sit at 4th down and 2. And that's exactly what they're going to do. And no, now they stop the clock at a minute at 1.2 seconds. So it looks like there was a little bit of a difference between the play clock and the game clock. So somebody had to call a timeout to avoid a penalty. But either way, 1.2 seconds left here as there's another timeout called on the field. And so now if you go into halftime here, if you're Coach Jed Richmond, you certainly love that first half of football. But at the same time, there's still a whole other half of football to play.
But you're also looking forward to it because now, towards the tail end of that second quarter, you found some things that you can do.
And now you take a look at the conference standings here at the Hoosier Heritage Conference. The Mount Vernon Marauders pretty much have the title neck and neck with New Palestine up there at the top. And, of course, Delta and Pendleton Heights out of contention for a conference championship this year, but still trying to look to build some momentum going into the postseason. So we get back to the action here. 1.2 Halftime just about to get to a conclusion here on 9 Star TV. Of course, during the halftime celebrations, you have been seeing a lot of the floats that have been going around here from the 4 classes here at Pendleton Heights High School. After all, it is homecoming, and so they are all going all out. And alongside Joe Polizzi, I'm Kurt Darling. And before we get into analyzing the second half here, Joe, I have never seen a homecoming celebration quite like this. This is truly something special.
You know, I got to tell you, it just bodes so well for the administration and the families' support and just what goes on here. You're just building memories for young people in building enthusiasm about what life could be like, and it is so refreshing to see what they put into it and how much fun it is.
And you see a full house here tonight at John Broughton Field, as the floats are certainly putting on a good show, but also so is the football team. A 17-0 advantage for the Arabians going into the second half.
They had a nice couple opportunities early for short touchdowns, which they capitalized on. And then the second half, it was pretty much domination. As you can see from the stats that we've seen, they found a number of ways to move the football, to be physical, and take the momentum right away from Delta. It'll be interesting to see the adjustments that Delta has made in order to corral this bunch of Arabians. But it's been a spectacular second quarter of football from Pendleton Heights.
And you saw that play from Javon Cole earlier. This is the 50-yard run from James Malone, who tonight now has 8 carries for 98 yards and a touchdown. He's averaging 12 yards a carry. Most of that has been padded off of that big run right there. But the big stat that jumps out to me here, Joe, is the fact that both of these teams have had pretty much equal possession of the football. 11 minutes for Delta, 12 minutes for the Arabians. Yet, the Arabians are outgaining Delta 226 yards to just 17 for Delta.
They did a nice job, as we were talking about before, of just using the first half of the first quarter to figure out what they can do, and then the second half of that whole first half in terms of just maximizing what they could take advantage of. They got their blocking schemes nailed down. They hit the quick plays. The quarterback has kept them off balance. They've just done a super job of taking control.
And now if you're Delta, you have to try and get some of that control back.
That's the idea. We're going to see what they have in store. It has been a tough night, to say the least, on their offense. I don't know if they're averaging a yard per play. Are they doing that? But it's been difficult, and it's been a lot of pressure. We're going to see if they can adjust to the way the Arabians are playing their secondary with 2 hard corners. Those 2 corners have made life miserable on anything that goes to the outside, whether it be run or pass. And I'd like to see how they're going to adjust and try to make something happen.
And just to put your mind at ease on that stat, they are averaging 0.7 yards a play today.
Yes.
So, and the big stat, though, is still, even though he was out for a couple of plays, Abram Stitt. Now, he comes into this contest with 51 carries for 508 yards on the ground this season, along with 273 yards through the air. Tonight, Abram Stitt has only 6 yards on the ground and -3 through the air.
Yeah, they've got to find ways. They've got to create some lanes. They've got to adjust their blocking schemes in order to get that young man to become an influence in this game.
And so Delta will be kicking off to Pendleton Heights here, and that's that's even more of a backbreaker right there, is the fact that you started the first half with the football, couldn't get anything moving. Pendleton Heights goes up 17-0, and you're giving them the ball to start the second half.
It's very difficult because, yes, they got the wave of momentum going, and you can tell that just take a look at that Pendleton front line there. They are not going to let Delta surprise them with an onside kick. They are hugging that line, and they are ready for it, because that's the thought I had in mind. Let's onside kick and try to steal some momentum, but they're just not going to let that happen.
Shades of Sean Payton in the 2011 Super Bowl against the Colts.
We'll never forget that one, will we?
No, we will not.
So we'll see what they have in store, but you're right. They've got to start on defense, and somehow they've got to create situations where they can make things happen, force a turnover, and then get some momentum going because they do have some skill on offense. We just haven't had a chance to see it.
So 2 more quarters of ball to be played here at John Broughton Field. Alongside Joe Polizzi, I'm Kurt Darling. Thank you for joining us tonight for some 9-star TV football here in Class 4A. Hoosier Heritage Conference action as we are now underway in the second half. And here come the Arabians as Myler has the hole up the middle and just twists the knife as Clint Myler goes 95 yards. Touchdown, Arabians!
The place erupts. Beautiful job in the kicking game. Blocked so perfectly. He hit it so hard. Excellent execution. You can't ask for a better way to come out for the second half on a homecoming night. Beautiful job. I can't say enough about the execution, how they blocked that. I'm not sure that Delta wasn't caught sleepwalking just a little bit.
So Clint Myler returns the first kickoff for a touchdown for the Arabians this season, as Apo will tack on the extra point, and it is good. 24-0. Pendleton Heights putting on a show here at homecoming.
Oh, that is so tough. You come out after a nice halftime. I'm sure there was a brisk halftime discussion, and you're thinking to yourself, well, there's no way it can get worse than this. But guess what? They bust one to start the second half. It got worse.
And yes, it has indeed. Nevertheless, it's quick as Delta will now start the second half de facto with the football here, as they'll receive the kickoff here after this one. But still, your head coach, Jed Richmond, all you wanted your team to do was to get better. That was the whole mantra for the last 3 games into just coming into this game, is just to get better, and it certainly appears as if the Arabians have gotten better.
No question. You can tell the message is getting across. They're not only getting better, but they're getting tougher, they're getting faster, they're getting more spirited. You just can't discount the value of momentum in any kind of a football contest, particularly on homecoming night.
And so Dominic Apo will put his boot into the ball here. And the special teams unit certainly deserves as many accolades as the rest of the team for Pendleton Heights, as they have been lights out as they kick it short this time to Abram Stitt. And he's going to try to do the same thing, but instead he is wrapped up there by Nick Trout of the special teams, and he gets it out to about the 35.
Once again, very nice job by Stitt. I mean, he made a couple moves, a couple cuts, set up a couple blocks. They've got good field position. Let's see if they can take advantage of it. Stitt, he's a player, and he may not be hitting things as loudly as he did tonight, but at some point in his career, he's going to be a voice to be heard from.
He is a junior on this Delta squad. Handoff is to Carpenter, and he powers forward, a gain of about 4.
I'm anxious to see if they have created a few new wrinkles, invented a couple new opportunities, took advantage of some of the things that they're seeing in order to get their team back in this game.
And if anything has been positive tonight for Delta, it's been Nolan Carpenter. In the first half, he had 6 carries for 23 yards. He leads the entire offense in yards gained, as you see Bond again try to escape outside and nothing doing there.
Well, that was an adjustment there, just in coaching the quarterback to keep the football and not pitching it where the corner was. We got a knee, I think.
And we have another player down. It's Quentin Backus, who is the wide back as well as the kick returner for this Delta squad.
Yeah, he got mixed into the fray. He looked like he was moving to the inside, and some form of a crackback block that could have been their adjustment to that cover 2. And he got tangled up, and hopefully he'll pop up from this and walk off the field.
Take a look at the replay again here. As you see Backus, and again, it's just right to the hip, and that read option is just more injuries for Delta as opposed to yards.
He's going to be okay. He looks like he's ready to pop up. He wants to anyway. Yeah, it's tough. You got 2 hard corners standing right there, so it's pretty much a 9-man front. It's very, very difficult You got to do some things formationally or with motion to change that up, or otherwise it's going to continue to be this kind of a night in terms of running outside.
This is a Delta team who, in a really big hole right now, they lead the overall series 24-16 against Pendleton Heights, dating back the last 35 years. The last time these two teams met was back on October 7th, almost a year to the day ago, where Delta took a 28-21 win in that contest.
Yeah, Delta it's traditionally a great program. They've had extreme success, and you could tell they know what they're doing, and they've got a beautiful looking team. It's just their youth at some positions holding them back. Plus, you got a landslide facing you with this homecoming football team, homecoming crowd, and a very talented Pendleton Heights team.
And Quinn Backus is being helped off the field. It looks like he's not able to get any sort of weight on that leg. So it's a shame to see him come out of the game at this point, especially at a time where Delta needs all the help they can get as they are facing a 24-0 deficit with exactly 11 minutes left to go. And so Quinn Backus still being helped to the sideline here. And we get ready to resume play as the Delta Eagles will continue this drive, facing 3rd down and 7 with the ball at the 37.
Well, let's hope it's something that can be treated and recover from easily. He is a fine young man and an exceptional football player. We're sending one man deep.
Looking over the middle and almost intercepted right into the hands of Clint Myler. And Clint Myler has had himself a game here this evening.
Well, you got to like the intent from the Delta staff. They were thinking maybe after that injury, after that lull, we might be able to catch him sleeping. And they took a shot.
As we take a look at the replay here, Bond just looking right over the middle, and instead of hitting his receiver, he threw it right into the hands of Clint Myler. Just couldn't complete the catch right there. But it's going to be 4th down in a putting situation. And since Quinn Backus is out, they have brought in a new punter, has Delta, and that's Jaden Miranda, who is a senior offensive lineman, defensive lineman by trade. He comes in to punt the ball away, and they'll put that down at about the 38-yard line.
Thankfully, it hit and rolled, or that could have been another disaster in terms of field position against. But the youth in the skill positions has definitely hurt Delta tonight. They're going to be good players, but tonight they're just it's just the wrong time to be out there.
So Candiano back in as he hands it off to his running back Malone, who again had an excellent first half, 98 yards on the ground that first half, but still you got to give some accolades to Candiano as well. Had nine carries, some of them designed for 48 yards.
He ran into a big fella right there, number 60, 6'3", 260, is that what I see? He ran into a big fella, or he would have been on his way once again.
That would have been Hunter Wallace, the defensive tackle there for the Delta Eagles. On the outside to Malone, and he gets tackled by the leg there, but falls forward, maybe a gain of 1.
Good job of support in the defensive backfield. They're set up again for a play action pass, but they are supporting the run very, very well. We got them in a long stick situation here.
And this is where Delta has been living all night long, and now Pendleton Heights still trying to keep the momentum up from that big 95-yard kick return by Clint Myler. Nevertheless, you still have a good cushion here at 24-0. As Candiano looking long down the right side of the field, and they're going to get a flag right there for pass interference on Delta. And that's Ryder Turner on the coverage.
Well, it's one of the pitfalls. They try to jump in the man. They ran well with the crossing routes, the deep route. They had it covered tightly, but one of the pitfalls there is you ask them to hug up too closely.
And you see the play right here. Ryder Turner got there way too early, and so they're going to call that every time. So that's a free play, and you have to remember that is not a spot foul like it is in the NFL. In high school, it is only 15 yards from the previous spot, but it is an automatic first down. And keep in mind that's an automatic first down after it was 3rd and long. So just another costly penalty by Delta. And now a whistle before the snap. And it looks like we have a timeout on the field called by the Delta Eagles. And just talking more about the history of this Pendleton Heights program, as you see the Delta sideline with Coach Overholt trying to inspire his players there, but Pendleton's best record came back in 1998 when they went 11-1, and that was one heck of a team that they had that year, but they had to play in the same sectional as Hamilton Southeastern that year, and they ended up falling to the Royals in the sectional final. But nevertheless, 1998 was the last time that Pendleton Heights won the HHC championship outright. They have not won a conference championship in any way, shape, or form since then.
Well, I would say they're on the right track. They're doing the right things. Certainly great support, great love of football, which is evidenced tonight. I mean, we're standing 3, 4, 5 deep around the field. There's just such electricity, enthusiasm around here. It's going to be memorable for all the young people involved.
Out of the timeout, Candiano hands the ball off, this time to Dresden Roberts. And he goes nowhere along the line of scrimmage. No gain.
No sign of letting up from that Delta defense. They're playing hard. They're running to the football, and they're getting there with a lot of energy and emotion, which is a great sign for your program, right?
Indeed it is. And as we talked about earlier, this is a program in Pendleton Heights that's slowly building up. They have won at least 7 games in the last 4 seasons, and they have 104 players in the program.
That's outstanding. And so there is a shot to get their 7 again this year.
Candiano looking
post
over the right side, and again has Javon Cole, who has been excellent tonight.
3rd and short. He had the post on that also. Doing a nice job of mixing it up. And it helps when you have a quarterback that can execute, and you've got skill position players across the field. It's just a good night for Heights.
Still be 3rd down and 2 here. And Candiano with 2 wide receivers to the far side now. High snap to Candiano. Turns the corner, gets the first down, goes down the sideline, and is knocked out of bounds at about the 10-yard line. Flag on the play.
Yeah, there was no hesitation in the mind of that side judge when he cut that flag loose.
So it'll be a hold on Pendleton Heights to negate that long run by Candiano.
They had 1 turnover early in the game, and since then, the only thing that's been stopping Pendleton Heights is their penalties. I don't know, did we see what it was?
And still a holding call, so they're going to bring it back. Couldn't quite see who it was.
I think it happened on the perimeter.
So either way, they back it up to the 47-yard line. And the clock continues to run, and the clock is certainly your friend here if you're Pendleton Heights, as well as the scoreboard, and it certainly isn't if you're Delta at this point.
And they're doing such a great job of calling offense. 3rd and 13 is not insurmountable.
Candiano over, trying to find Cole again. No dice there, and they will punt it away. And Candiano certainly likes throwing it to Javon Cole tonight.
And you can't blame them. Just a little bit behind them, or they were close on another broken play conversion.
As you see the replay here, and Candiano certainly showing his chops of being able to throw outside of the pocket. And Javon Cole with 2 catches tonight, over 50 yards receiving.
Yeah, his quarterback's confidence has grown and grown and grown. He's going to be, with 4 more games to play, he's going to be tough.
End over end kick, and it bounces inside the 5-yard line. So the backup punter in Beeler for Pendleton Heights coming in clutch right there, and that pins Delta deep in their own territory.
You've heard when it rains it pours, correct?
It's currently pouring in Pendleton Heights.
It's monsoon season. They are, they struggle as much as you're struggling, and then you've got field position issues where you cannot afford to be risky and turn it over, or the game's completely out of reach.
It's pouring on a clear and cool night, a perfect night for high school football.
Memorable first night of October, and it's absolutely gorgeous.
Caden Bond from his own end zone finally has a long completion to Stitt, and that is good for a first down.
Beautiful job. They caught everybody by surprise. There was no pass rush at all. He had time to sit back there and wait for things to develop and deliver the football. Beautiful job.
And any semblance of pass rush there was got there a little late. And now if you're Delta, you have some wiggle room here. And the give, again, is to Carpenter, and he falls forward, a gain of a yard.
Uh-oh.
And now a quick injury here, as that's Josh Schroger limping off of the field. So we'll see Derek Louder check back into the ball game at left guard. Or I'm sorry, at nose tackle.
Big 300-pounder.
Carpenter tries to turn the corner, has a hole, and tries to bulldoze his way over Clint Myler, but Myler's having none of it. He stops that for a gain of about 4.
They're doing a nice job of getting themselves out of the hole. The way it started, this series was, let's see if we can get in position to have a good punt, but now they've got things operating in the third and reachable.
Quick snap to Carpenter, and he is stuffed right at the line of scrimmage in a clutch tackle by Eli Arthur. And Eli Arthur getting his 3rd tackle for loss right there. And so it's going to be 4th down and short. And again, Delta is going to punt it away right here. Just outside of that comfort zone where you think about going for it in this situation. So it's Jaden Miranda punting the ball away now. And he gets it high up, and it's fielded by Myler, and he's met right at midfield. Still excellent field position for Pendleton Heights.
Not as disastrous as it looked like it was going to be at the start of the series. Let's see what the Pendleton Heights staff has going there. Been able to click and connect on so much offensively. They could go in a number of directions.
And this is a defense in Pendleton Heights that has only averaged about 1 sack per game. Now, they haven't had a sack since the first quarter, but they had 2 sacks in the first quarter alone. So they are applying a lot of pressure on defense as they are on offense, as moved by James Malone puts it down at the 45.
Yeah, he hits that line with such explosion, and he just takes charge. It's hard to stop him. He gets to that linebacker level right now, and he's a freight train hitting in there.
Clock ticking inside of 5 minutes now. It's certainly been a quick game so far. We are just past the 9 o'clock hour here in Pendleton.
Play a doubleheader tonight.
Don't jinx it, Joe. There's Luke Candiano on the keeper, and he's grabbed by the jersey from behind and tackled just shy of the line to gain. And Candiano just showing how versatile he is as a football player tonight. He's certainly been running it, he's been passing it, and just making overall great decisions, the senior quarterback.
He really is, and it's fun to watch a senior that has confidence. He's been there. He knows he's in charge of this team. He knows that they're going to respond for him, and they're doing a super job of just killing clock and maintaining possession, moving the chains.
Direct snap to Candiano, tries to sneak it forward, and he's going to be just shy of a first down. Now, what do you do here if you're Pendleton Heights? They're going to punt the ball away here. They have the lead. No sense in going for something too crazy here, but it certainly begs the question, do you go for it right here?
I'm wondering why, unless they have something where they're going to try to get him to jump or a fake. But, yeah, I would want to keep possession.
So Beeler back to punt the ball away again.
Yep.
And they're going to fake the punt, and it's a direct snap to Dresden Roberts, and he gets a first down. So just catching Delta looking right there, and it'll be a first down.
See, it's almost mandatory that you do some kind of a fake punt on homecoming. Something like that. You just have to do it.
But we have a targeting call here
to tack it on
against Delta. So just to make matters worse, they give even more yardage to Pendleton Heights after giving up that fake punt. It's just been there's no other way to describe it here, Joe. It's just been a miserable night for the Delta Eagles.
It sure has. There's not a whole lot. I mean, there's some individual performances worth note, but as a team.
And here's the targeting call right there. Yeah, it's a helmet-to-helmet right there.
Is that right?
Yeah, it was one helmet to another.
And who was the ball carrier? What number?
That would have been Dresden Roberts, number 48.
Okay, because he's a guy that needs more carries. Did you see him hit that line?
Yes, he did. Candiano going to the end zone, finding Castor, touchdown!
Yeah.
And that's actually Caden Sims, the senior, wearing the similar number 86 compared to his teammate 88 and Will Castor. Either way, a big touchdown adds on to the big lead for Pendleton Heights.
Beautiful job on the fade. Perfect placement of that football. Couldn't ask for a better toss. Good hands. Way to look it in. And, again, you'd love to be calling the offense for Pendleton Heights because just everything is clicking.
And that is a 15-yard touchdown catch for Caden Sims, his second touchdown of the season. And that first touchdown that he scored, as we take a look at the replay here, just a beautiful throw from Candiano. Right over the defender's head. And a heads-up play by the sophomore to not lose his cool with it being that close.
Exactly.
And then you had this first touchdown, though, from Caden Sims, which came back against Mississinewa in the season-opening game on August 21st. So he's gone the whole season without catching a touchdown pass in that span. But that first touchdown pass that he had was the game winner, which went for about that same distance, only on the other side of the field here back on August 21st.
Yeah, this is a football team that has got to be excited about the way they are executing tonight. Beautiful job. They're going to get to a situation here where it's a running clock, and it's already a fast game.
And it's just surprising because this isn't a game where you would have envisioned a running clock because, conference game, two teams that know each other really, really well, and Pendleton Heights has just had sheer dominance.
Yeah, they have snake bit for the whole game. That's very difficult. And Delta's got some athletes, and there are things to work with, and I'm sure this coaching staff will get everybody's attention this week, and they'll come out storming next Friday night. But this is a situation where nothing has gone right, and you have been unable to manufacture just about anything to make you feel better about things.
And give most of the credit to this Pendleton Heights defense because they have not allowed Delta to be able to do what they do best all season long, which is run the football. The extent of their running plays has been basically what you just saw right there, only short little spurts that haven't really been able to give the Delta Eagles any kind of hard momentum.
I'm not sure if it was an injury or what, but we do have a new quarterback.
And now they have Caden Bond back in there.
Oh, okay. Bond
so it was
probably
a one-play thing there that they had going on. Bond is back in at quarterback with Nolan Carpenter to his left. And then the give is to Carpenter this time. He runs into his offensive lineman and still falls forward for maybe a gain of a yard.
It's the type of attack where you got to stay close to have your offense function. They don't have the ability, or so it seems, to open things up and score quickly, which is what you need when you're down like this. You got to get on the board, and you got to get some momentum and then create some turnovers and get back in it. Right now they're sticking with their offense and going to try to leave this game feeling good about what they can do.
Bond on the keeper. Again, tries to turn the corner and gets tackled there by Skylar Arthur. And as we keep saying, it's like Pendleton Heights, they keep just having the edges sealed off, and Delta has not had any sort of momentum on the outside.
No, they schemed well and had the right coverage all game and haven't had a reason to get out of it.
So the high punt here from Miranda is going to bounce right out of bounds at about the 43-yard line.
Well, he wanted that too.
Yeah, you saw Myler. He already took one to the house earlier tonight. He wants to do it again.
He wanted that. He was looking for the opportunity to scoop and go.
But no scoop and score right there. And so they'll put the ball right at the 43-yard line. And Pendleton Heights coming back out yet again. And it looks like Candiano's going to stay in the game here with 47 seconds left in the third quarter.
Just beating up this defense. I mean, they just had a tough series. And then another 3 and out, and we're right back out here. Didn't really have time to get a drink of water and get a little correction. Tough night. Tough night for Delta.
Well, and as we talked about, there's going to be another penalty here, so it's going to go back to the 30, make it the 28-yard line.
Somehow I don't think that's going to matter.
So 1 quarter of play coming up here after 47 seconds left in the third. And Candiano back in the gun again.
Yeah, it'd be a tough call. And when do you take a senior out for homecoming? He's playing so well.
Malone on the call, and he gets powered backwards after he goes forward for maybe a gain of a yard. And who knows, it might be about reps at this point for Coach Jed Richmond's squad, especially since, you're coming off of 3 straight losses where you haven't really been able to do anything that you wanted to do. In fact, they only scored a total of 3 points in the last 2 games coming into this contest. They only got 3 against New Pal before being shut out by Mount Vernon on the road. Both of those games on the road, mind you.
I got to say a word here about 60 on Delta's defense, Hunter Wallace. He has played a great game. He's just a junior, 6'3" and 260, and he's going to be a guy that'll have an opportunity to play at the next level. He's held in there very tough.
Indeed he has. 1 quarter of play coming up next here on 9 Star TV.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 160,000 participants here in Indiana who take part in high school sports.
Right back at it here on 9 Star TV. Alongside Joe Polizzi, I'm Kurt Darling. And we have 1 quarter of play left to go here. As we now get set, it's 31-0. And we take a look at the stats here, and just all Pendleton Heights here, 190 yards on the ground, a total of about 276 yards to just 47 yards to Delta.
Total domination. Speaking of total domination, we got a score that will be interesting to our listeners. Mount Vernon 46, Newcastle 0. That's a final.
And so
there's some great football going on in the area, but Mount Vernon is just on a roll, aren't they?
That moves the Marauders to 5-0 in conference play, and all but makes it better for them to secure an HHC championship.
No looking back.
We switch sides of the football field, and Candiano again has his favorite target on the night, Javon Cole. He breaks a tackle, gets back out into the 30, down to the 31-yard line. What a play by Javon Cole tonight. That puts him over 100 yards receiving on the night.
Super job. He got a key block and a nice, excellent job, actually, of running after the catch. Wow.
And
They're just showing the ability to strike in so many different directions.
So Javon Cole is actually going to be close to 100 yards rushing, probably just 100 yards receiving, just shy. He had 54 yards on 2 catches before that one right there.
Nice looking junior prospect.
And now out to the other side. This time it's Marvin Jones who pushes it forward for a nice solid gain of just about 10 yards and close to first down yardage. That's Marvin Jones' second catch of the night, as he has 20 yards total on the game thus far. And Candiano just having himself a night passing the ball. On these last 2 passes, he puts himself over 100 yards passing along with 2 touchdown passes. Malone up the gut and ensures the first down that time on 2nd and short.
It's not like they're running it up. They're just executing an offense. They're just taking advantage of what that defense is giving them. Short passes, and kids are making plays. And to see the Delta defense rally and not lay down.
And now, remember the next score, if Pendleton Heights is able to get it into the end zone, that would put us over the 35-point mark, which would be a running clock. And Candiano, feeling the pressure that time, scrambles ahead, a gain of about 2 yards.
Nice. Actually, wasn't that a nice play?
It was a nice play. It was a broken play at first, and Candiano just showing his chops right there. He has just been solid tonight.
Exactly. I'll bet the same kid as a 10th grader would have threw that one up for grabs somewhere. He just poised and maturity and did a nice job of moving the chains forward and keeping things alive.
Candiano is also a basketball player for the Arabians.
Boom.
As he hands it off to Malone again, punches it up through the end zone. Touchdown, James Malone. How about the sophomore? 2 touchdowns tonight, but an even better play to punch it right through the defensive line of Delta.
Beautiful job. You know how they can calculate the speed of the ball off the bat? I'd like to see his speed out of that stance. He hits that line like Major League Baseball player can crank a home run. He really comes off the football. Tough to stop. Just a little crease, and he makes it happen.
And so the extra point goes up through and is good for Dominic Apo. And so with that gives us a running clock for the remainder of this contest while the ball is live. So just to remind our viewers of what the running clock rule is, we have reached 35 points. It is 38-0, which means now, regardless of even if Delta's able to get back in within that 35-point threshold, it is going to be a running clock for the remainder of this ball game. But as you see there again on the replay, James Malone, who got his first touchdown of the night, or first touchdown of the season earlier tonight, he decided to get one more here while he's at it.
He's having a lot of fun. Are you going to figure that out for me? I want to see his exit velocity. Man, he hits that line of scrimmage fast. They're going to have some fun with him. If that's his first touchdown tonight, and he's got 2, right?
He has 2.
Oh, he's going to become addicted to such things and want more and more and more. That's exciting.
And that was one thing that Coach Jed Richmond talked about is the fact that they just want to get better. And what better way to get better than have your sophomores come in here and get some valuable reps, and on top of that, play well and completely dominate a very good football team.
Exactly. And he's going to have fun. Let's see what happens on this. Nothing doing.
And there's Stitt, who spins out, stays upright, but just falls forward and gets out to the 28-yard line.
How about that for effort? What a beautiful job of keeping alive, making things happen. By going back to the Pendleton coaching staff, if that's their philosophy is keep getting better, this is going to be just a tremendous example of what they've been preaching and how it's working, and they can build off of that.
And if they keep Stitt in the ball game here, they've got Bond in there, but you also see a few other players, maybe a few subs as well, but you have Nolan Carpenter in at running back right now. As Bond will roll out to his left, fires trying to find his receiver in Caleb Elliott, and that falls incomplete. But talking about Stitt, we talked earlier in this game that he had a chance to hit 1,000 career rushing yards tonight. He has not hit that. He only needed 21 yards on the ground to hit that mark this season. Yeah, it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult. May have to wait till next week. Looks like I'd have to say that's a whole backup defense for Pendleton Heights. Kids getting a chance to play.
So you got players like Brennan Adams in at cornerback, as well as a few others as the Arabians showing the blitz. Nick Trout coming on that. Bond hits his receiver that time. And that's going to be good for about 6 or 7 yards as he hits Damari Hood, the sophomore wide receiver. So third down as the offensive woes just keep on mounting here for xDelta. They just have not been able to do anything on offense tonight.
Yeah, they are limited. They have caused a lot of their own issues, not to mention what Pendleton Heights has brought. There's the little pressure.
Bond over the middle. Nothing there. And he drops the ball there, does Abram Stitt.
I will say this about Pendleton Heights. They are not taking their foot off the pedal. They are coming with pressure, and that was a great little call on a blitz right there that disrupted the quarterback's vision point on that throw. And another 3 and out. You're going to have to bring a defense right back out.
Then again, if you're coming off of a 3-game losing streak, I wouldn't take my foot off the gas either.
Heck no. No.
Just to add to just how significant it is the fact that Delta hasn't been able to run any sort of offense tonight, the Arabians have amounted 14 first downs tonight, as opposed to the Delta's Eagles only 2.
Yeah.
Only 2 first downs all night long.
Yeah, it seemed that way, and to see it on in the hard copy just certainly illuminates it. But, yeah, it's been one-sided, and initially it was that the Delta was just causing their own trouble, but then the momentum and all the execution and the domination fell into place for Pendleton Heights. They've just played an exceptional football game.
And Clint Myler nearly muffed the punt right there, but he falls on top of it.
We got some subs in here now.
And so now we get to see Tice Tomey in at quarterback for Pendleton Heights for the first time tonight. Has not seen a whole lot of action this season since a lot of the time has not been warranted where they have not been up. In fact, this is the largest margin of victory that Pendleton Heights has seen all season long. They have not won a game by more than 7 points all this season. And there's a big hit on the running back.
I'm looking for a Hay Hook or
Samuel Ray was on the call there for Pendleton Heights. So all second-team offense here as Luke Candiano's night is done. He has certainly put in a heck of an effort here for homecoming, giving the alumni a good show here at Pendleton Heights.
He's just one of those guys, as far as I can see, is just getting better and better and better as he gets more confidence And as the coaches discover more and more things that he can do, he's really dangerous.
Ray on the call once again. As we see a few other players checking into the ball game for the first time tonight. You got Peyton Stewart in at wide receiver, as well as Andrew Evans for Pendleton Heights. And once again, the clock will continue to run regardless of if a pass is incomplete here late in this ball game. And so looking ahead for Delta, they get to go on the road yet again to a, believe it or not, tough Greenfield Central team. That game will be kicking off at 7:30 on October 8th. As once again, Pendleton Heights forced to a 3-and-out here, and they'll punt the ball away.
Good pressure on the defense, knife through, got a tackle for loss, disrupted what could have been another nice drive, and Pendleton Heights has got to give it up. I'm sure they wanted to end this game nice and clean with a nice drive, but the way it's been going, they're 3-and-outs. 3-and-outs have been the model.
So Delta will fall to 1-3 in the Hoosier Heritage Conference, as Pendleton Heights will likely improve to 2-3, moving up ahead of Newcastle. And next up for Pendleton Heights, they go on the road to Yorktown, which is a team that took this Delta squad to overtime, and they ended up beating the Eagles 28-27 back on September 10th. So that'll be an interesting game as well. So both of these teams going on the road next week. And then it's certainly a tough end of the regular season for Delta as they go against Greenfield Central, and they close out on October 15th against New Palestine.
Ouch. Ouch. And New Pal is on the rise. They're playing New Pal style of football.
As you always do expect from head coach Kyle Ralph down there in New Pal. But Pendleton, after Yorktown, which could be a tough matchup, they get to close things out against Shelbyville, which Shelbyville, they have not been a factor at all over the last few years or so. And then they go into sectional play after that. The sectional draw is coming up soon. We get to look forward to that as well.
It's amazing how quickly this has gone. But now I'm pulling for them to get the number 7 win at a minimum.
And yeah, and as you allude to right there, if Pendleton Heights can get to the 7-win mark this season, that will be the 5th consecutive season they have had exactly 7 wins.
Which gets them in a New Year's Day bowl, right?
If we're playing college football, yes, absolutely.
So that's the measuring stick. That's a good year. That's a good year.
But, of course, the goal for high schoolers is to be playing in the Thanksgiving Day Bowl, which is the state finals at Lucas Oil Stadium.
Exactly. And they're a good team. I don't know if they're there, but they have the pieces to put together quite a run.
Well, this is a Pendleton Heights squad that has 13 seniors. In fact, this is actually the smallest senior class that Coach Richmond has had in his 6-year tenure. So, and you're seeing that on display here tonight with just how poised and how talented this sophomore class that he has at his disposal.
That is a class. That's a good class. They've got some people that can make things happen, and as they develop and mature and spend time in that weight room, there's going to be some fun around here, especially on these homecomings. I love it.
So the clock continuing to wind down here under the running clock, and Delta can try to put this one behind them the best they can. They just did not have it tonight as they'll punt the ball away here.
Go get it. Go get it. Get one more run.
Meanwhile, Pendleton Heights snapping a 3-game losing streak tonight on homecoming.
It's going to be a memorable night. I'd like to see that dance afterwards. You know they're going to be having some fun.
Indeed they will. Final score here at John Broughton Field. Pendleton Heights shutting out the Eagles of Delta 38-0. And a huge win for Pendleton Heights on homecoming. Needless to say, this will be one that Jed Richmond will remember. So a good night here tonight on homecoming in front of a standing room only crowd. And as we said earlier, once again, just to remind you, Delta will be on the road against Greenfield Central. Next week, Pendleton Heights on the road as well against Yorktown. Both of those games on October 8th, both of them kicking off at 7:30. But the next game that you can see right here on 9 Star TV will be at Mount Vernon. It'll be the Marauders taking on Newcastle. Kickoff for that one will be at 7:30. Rob Conant and Joe Polizzi. You guys will be on the call for that one next week. Should be a good matchup.
I love it. I love it. I appreciate you working with me tonight. It's been a pleasure. It's been a lot of fun presenting this game. Couldn't ask for a better situation.
Absolutely. Certainly a pleasure is all mine as well. Well, for all of us here at 9 Star TV, for Joe Polizzi, I'm Kurt Darling, saying so long till next time. You have been watching IHSAA football here on 9 Star TV. So long, everybody.